Five Nights at Freddy's has one of the most liminal spaces I have ever seen in gaming. They have this odd feeling of nothing, and yet that dread of knowing that something is coming to get you. You never really know when, like it's always lingering, watching, empty. Hello everyone, my name is Owen, and welcome to my channel. I'm sorry for the missed upload last week, a lot happened in my life, but I'm here today to talk about one of my favorite things, liminal spaces. Liminal spaces are commonly described as to be a transitional space or space between another place. This could be something as simple as an example of a doorway. Many of the FNAF places describe this kind of space in great detail. I think one of the best examples of liminal in FNAF is the FNAF 3 minigames. The empty static areas with Bonnies in minigames, the crying children, and people gathering in one spot, even in an empty world. And if we're talking about liminal spaces in FNAF, we can't forget about the FNAF 1 office. If we remove the ambience and are left with the sound of the animatronics, it's a space of transition, a space between 12 and 6. That whole feeling that you get in the back of your throat when you stare into that feeling of familiarity, you're being pinned. You can't run, you can barely move, and yet you feel like you've been there before. I think another fantastic example is the Dream minigame from FNAF 2, where you are in an animatronic, going back and forth to look at you and the friends around you. Empty but seeable dining area is a place that used to be filled with laughter and people talking, sounds of noises and arcades down to silence. No people. A space of transition. Now, why would I talk about these examples? Well, I want to bring these up because I want to talk about how liminal spaces in FNAF change the horror of FNAF. In order to understand why FNAF benefits from liminal spaces, we need to understand why are liminal spaces scary? For some people, the reason liminal spaces are scary is because it's a space of change, and that change can be very scary for some people. The idea of what they knew is gone, especially if you're looking at an image. Images, you know that it's not real and you know that you're not there, but it's still that space of this isn't human. And that leads me into my next theory. How the spaces aren't very human. They aren't designed for human livable habitats. So our brain kind of panics and wants to get out of that area where we don't want to feel like we don't have a space to hide, where we don't have a space to go. Another great theory is that most liminal spaces are nostalgic, something long gone, and that feeling that you can't go back to what you felt when you were whatever age. And now that those places are empty, it hurts more because you remember how happy that place was. The reason we get scared can also play a huge role in why we are scared of horror games and liminal spaces. When we get scared, we release a stress hormone called cortisol and adrenaline. Your eyes dilate, and the blood that pumps through your heart actually gets sent to the fingers and your limbs so that you can get ready to attack or throw a punch, if you are the fight in the fight or flight. But when you are in flight mode, when it comes to being stuck in a liminal location like Freddy's, your brain panics even more because it's not a normal response. Normally, you have space to run, but because its normal response is not an option anymore, your brain panics even more because it's trying to find another way to get out of the situation. I think most of the time, liminal spaces end up being a mass of these things. And I think that all of these things can be connected to that feeling when we play these games. I also think that it could be the reason that Security Breach isn't as scary as other games, because in other games it's small. There's no structure because these animatronics aren't supposed to move like this. They also play deeply into nostalgia. Our brains were younger when we saw these games. That feeling that we had seeing something new that we were not really used to when it comes to FNAF, but with Security Breach, people found that massive area very not threatening. Here's a couple more examples. Sister Location main area without all of the extra things are very, very liminal. Many things from FNAF 4 are very liminal, including the teasers. When we look into the hallways, we can see the empty feeling of it all. There is nothing. And even if there is something, there's that overwhelming dread that it's coming to get you. The teasers with the purple hat is also very liminal, showing just a hat and a light. Hey guys, Editing Owen here. Just realized when I was looking at that teaser in editing, there's a pair of teeth on the light, so I have no idea what that means, but it's there. making the idea that there was something there that was much more real and much scarier. To expand more on the FNAF 3 minigames, we can see this image. It's one of the best FNAF liminal images. Mangle, a moving, already broken animatronic, next to a crying, sad puppet. Red static. There is nothing but this and music, and the music is already pretty creepy, so I'm sure that doesn't help. Next, I think FNAF World fits the bill very, very well when it comes to liminal spaces. I think the ones with the Foxy and the Bonnie game come very, very heavily in with liminal spaces. And when you really, really zoom out on it, Chica's Magic Rainbow, the fact that that game has a very plastic, dream core, nostalgic feeling makes it very, very liminal. Overall, FNAF benefits greatly from liminal spaces and making you feel trapped in where you are. I'm hoping you learn to love liminal spaces in horror, and not in horror, and how much they add to your gaming experience. Thank you guys so much for 200 views on the last video. I'm sure that there will be much more by the time that this video is uploaded. I didn't think the last video would get so many people's attention for an out-of-age book. If you haven't watched that video, I'll leave the video in the description, or you can check out my YouTube channel to watch it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.